Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the presentation about NICE guideline in pregnancy. Okay, this whole guideline has been taken from the NICE guideline. Okay, this whole presentation has been taken from the NICE guideline. So first of all, introduction. There are about 7 lakh births in England and Wales per year, and 5% of the women have diabetes in their pregnancy, and 87.5% diabetic pregnancies are due to gestational diabetes. And prevalence of the diabetes is increasing day by day, and there is increase in perinatal mortality and morbidity with diabetes in pregnancy. What are the risks of diabetes in pregnancy? There are certain risks to the fetus, which includes the miscarriages, congenital malformation, for example, neural tube defect, cardiac anomalies, fetal macrosomia, and shoulder dystocia and polyhydramnios. These are the risks to the fetus. Also, the risks to the fetus include stillbirth, 5-time high risk, and preterm births and unexplained IUD. Okay, the maternal complications include, first of all, the preeclampsia. There is threefold increased risk of the preeclampsia, birth trauma to the mother and the baby, and induction of the labor or cesarean section, and diabetic retinopathy. So these are the risks to the mother. What are the risks to the newborn? The newborn baby is also not free from the risks, and those risks include, first of all, the birth asphyxia, TTN, which is transit tachypnea of the new birth, hypoglycemia, respiratory distress syndrome, hypoglycemia and hypomagnesemia, polycythemia, hyperbilirubinemia. The risks to the newborn also include obesity or diabetes developing later in the baby life, jaundice, birth trauma, transit neonatal morbidity. Congenital abnormality. It is an important cause of mortality and mortality and morbidity in diabetes, and 2 to 4 times more in diabetes. The congenital anomalies are 2 to 4 times more in diabetes, threefold excess of cardiac or neural tube defects. Okay, so there is some details about the preconception planning and care. Okay, so first of all, we will do the patient education. We should give information about the outcome and risk for the mother and the baby. Secondly, the importance of the planning pregnancy and the role of the contraception. Then diet, dietary supplements, and body weight. Okay, the preconception care also include the folic acid supplement and blood glucose meter for self-monitoring. Also, women to maintain these target levels of the blood glucose, like fasting blood level should be 5 to 7 millimole, 90 to 126 milligram per deciliter, and plasma glucose level should be about 4 to 7 millimole per liter, 72 to 126 milligram per deciliter. Preconception care also includes the ketone testing strips to the mother are given, especially with the type 1 diabetes, and advice is given on its use if she becomes hyperglycemic or unwell. We should check monthly HbA1c, and the target HbA1c should be 48 millimole per mole, which is 6.5%. She shouldn't get pregnant if HbA1c is 86 millimole per mole, which is 10%. In preconception care, the retinal assessment by fundoscopy is also included unless carried out in the previous 3 months, and renal assessment including the microalbuminuria before stopping contraception. Okay, preconception care also include the advice regarding the safety medicine before and during pregnancy, like metformin and glibenclamide may be used before and during pregnancy as well, or instead of insulin. Data from clinical trials and other sources do not suggest that rapid acting insulin analog Aspart or Lispro or Humalog adversely affect pregnancy or the health of the fetus and the newborn baby. Evidence about the use of the long-acting insulin analog during pregnancy is limited. Isofene insulin, which is 70-30 insulin, is the insulin of the choice, the first choice of insulin which is used during pregnancy. Okay, what advice is given regarding the safety medicine before and during pregnancy? Okay, we should consider continuing the treatment with a long-acting insulin analog, insulin datimer or insulin glargine in the women with diabetes who have established blood glucose control before pregnancy. As soon as pregnancy is confirmed, she should stop hypoglycemic agent if not from metformin and commence insulin if required. She should stop ACE inhibitors and angiotensin II receptor blockers and consider alternative antihypertensive, and she should stop statin as well. The retinal assessment. She should offer retinal assessment in the preconception period and as soon as possible after the first contact in pregnancy if it has not been performed in the past 3 months. At 16 weeks if diabetic retinopathy is present at the first antenatal clinic appointment, and at 28 weeks if first assessment is normal. Then retinal assessment is done by digital imaging with mydriasis using tropicamide or with dilated retinoscopy. Those with diabetic retinopathy should have follow-up up to 6 months after delivery. Diabetic retinopathy should not be a contraindication to vaginal birth. The preconception care also includes a renal assessment in the preconception period. Renal assessment should be done as a part of first contact in the pregnancy if it has not been performed in the past 6 months. We should consider referral to the nephrologist if serum creatinine is abnormal, that is 120 micromole per liter or more, or total protein excretion exceeds 0.5 gram per liter. We should consider thromboprophylaxis if proteinuria is above 5 gram per day. If patient develops gestational diabetes, if it is diagnosed, gestational diabetes, it is diagnosed if fasting blood glucose, fasting blood sugar is 5.6 millimole per liter, which is 100 mg per deciliter or above, or 2 hours blood glucose is 7.8 millimole per liter, which is 140 mg per deciliter or above, means post 75 glucose load. Gestational diabetes risk assessment, how would we do it? It's very important in the NICE guideline that we have to do the risk assessment whenever a patient is admitted to the hospital with diabetes or whenever we suspect diabetes in them. Then we have to do risk assessment. First of all, the BMI greater than 30 kg per meter square, previous gestational diabetes, previous macrosomic baby weighing 4.5 kg or more, previous history of the polyhydramnias. So, a previous history of congenital malformed baby, previous history of unexplained stillbirth, first degree relatives with diabetes, family origin with a high prevalence of diabetes like South Asia, Black Caribbean, and Middle Eastern, glycosuria, age more than 25. Do not use fasting blood sugar, random blood sugar, HbA1c, or GTD urine analysis for the glucose for the purpose of the risk assessment. Glycosuria detected by the routine antenatal testing. Glycosuria is diagnosed if there are sugar of plus 2 or above on one occasion or plus 1 or above on 2 or more occasion. Testing. How would we do testing? Women who had diabetes in the previous pregnancy, she should do self-monitoring of the blood glucose OGTT at the booking visit, OGTT at 24 to 48 weeks if booking OGTT is normal, and women with the only risk factor OGTT is done at 24 to 48 weeks. Advise women with gestational diabetes about the dietary advice should be given if no control within 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, dietary advice and the regular exercise, 30 minutes walk after the meal, and offer trial of change in the diet if fasting blood sugar up to 7 millimole per liter at the diagnosis. If no control within 1 to 2 weeks, advise metformin, and offer insulin with or without metformin if target fasting blood sugar is 7 millimole per liter, not better. Advise women with gestational diabetes. In case of the fetal macrosomia or polyhydramnios, fasting blood sugar is 6 to 6.9, which is 108 to 124.2 milligram per deciliter. Offer insulin with or without metformin. Consider glibenclamide, which comes in the form of Dionel when the patient declines insulin and target levels are not achieved with the metformin, or when the patient is inpatient who cannot tolerate metformin. How do we do monitoring of the blood glucose? This is also very important and also an exam question, that in type 1 diabetes, fasting pre-meal, 1 hour post-meal, and bedtime levels are checked, means 4 level. In type 2 diabetes or gestational diabetes who are on multiple insulins, they not 4 level, these are more than 4 level, these are 7 levels. Fasting pre-meals, 1 hour post-meal, and bedtime, 4 things are written, but these are in fact the 7 levels. And type 2 diabetes or gestational diabetes who are on diet, exercise therapy, single dose insulin, fasting, 1 hour post meal level check. Then blood glucose targets and monitoring, advise a woman to keep their glucose level below the following target level: fasting 5.3 millimole per liter, which is 95.4 milligram per deciliter; 1 hour after meal 7.8 millimole per liter, which is 140.4 milligram per deciliter; 2 hours after meal is 6.4 millimole per liter, which is 115.2 milligram per deciliter. Lowest level should be above 4 millimole per liter, which is 72 milligram per deciliter. Okay, monitoring HbA1c level at booking in all the women with pre-existing diabetes, and at second and third trimester in pre-existing diabetes to assess the level of the risk, and the level of the risk increases if the HbA1c is 48 millimole per mole, which is 6.5%. Monitoring HbA1c, if HbA1c is more than 85 millimole per mole, which is 9.9%, the risk of fetal loss is 30%. HbA1c is measured 3 monthly in the non-compliant patient. What is the difference between GDM and diabetes? Okay, in GDM,
ما تقدروا لو بيتول واتشو ثروتهم ختم شو.
early pregnancy, blood sugar normal, usually no effect on organogenesis, less likely to have congenital defect, and diabetes disappear after birth, and macrosomia more likely in GDM. Whereas in diabetes in pregnancy, elevated blood sugar since before pregnancy, and effect during organogenesis more likely to have congenital defect up to 8 times more than normal, and fetus may be growth restricted. Effect of pregnancy on diabetes, nausea and vomiting, especially in the early pregnancy, greater importance of tight blood glucose control, increase in the insulin dose requirement in the second half of pregnancy. Effect of pregnancy on diabetes, increased risk of hypoglycemia, deterioration of the pre-existing retinopathy, deterioration of the established nephropathy. Effect of diabetes on pregnancy, increased risk of miscarriages, congenital malformation and macrosomia, increases of preeclampsia, stillbirth infection and operative delivery rate. And what is the timetable? Okay. The booking there is done by 10 weeks. We have to discuss how diabetes affect pregnancy. If the woman has been attended for the preconception care, continue to provide information regarding glycemic control. If not, give information education about the diabetes related complication and how to achieve glycemic control, offer a retinal assessment as soon as possible after the first contact in pregnancy if it has not been performed in the past 3 months, and arrange contact with the joint diabetes and antenatal clinic 1 to 2 weeks throughout the pregnancy, and advise self monitoring of the glucose level or OGTT as soon as possible, and confirm fetal viability. Low dose aspirin should be prescribed in all the diabetic women from 12 weeks onward to reduce the risk of the preeclampsia. 16 weeks. Retinal assessment if diabetic retinopathy is present at the first antenatal clinic appointment. Self-monitoring with the blood glucose or GGT as soon as possible. Who booked the second visit? At 20th week, GT anomaly scan is done. And 28th week, fetal biometric plus AFI is checked. And retinal assessment of all women with pre-existing diabetes is done at 28 weeks. At 32 weeks, fetal biometric plus AFI is checked. At 34 weeks, no additional different care for the woman with diabetes. At 36 weeks, fetal biometric plus AFI is checked. You have to provide information and advice about the timing, mood, and management of the birth, analgesia and anesthesia, change of the medication during and after birth, and care of the baby after birth, breastfeeding and its effect on the blood sugar, contraception, and follow-up. At 37 to 38 plus 6 weeks, we have to offer IUL or C-section if indicated to type 1 or type 2 diabetes, otherwise wait for well. At 38 weeks, we have to offer test for fetal well-being. At 39 weeks, we have to offer test for fetal well-being, planned delivery no longer than 40 plus 6 weeks, and a woman with uncomplicated gestation diabetes, preterm labor in women with diabetes should not be considered as a contraindication to antenatal steroid for fetal lung maturation. In insulin treated diabetes who receive steroids, give additional insulin to meet requirement for glycolysis. Do not use beta mimetic as it causes hyperglycemia and hypokalemia. And preterm labor in women with diabetes, calcium channel blockers naltrexone is ideal therapeutic in this case. And hyperglycemia decay, symptoms of hyperglycemia should be taught to the women, and women should be advised to check their ketone using strips. Intrapartum care. Okay, elective births before 37 weeks. Okay, if metabolic fetal complications, and elective birth 37 plus 37 to 38 weeks in type 1 or type 1 type 2 diabetes without complication. If there is no complication, then 37 to 38 weeks type 1 to type 2 diabetes. In GDM, we have to consider IOL or elective SCS at 40 plus 6 weeks. Okay, so in case of GDM, we can take it to 40 plus 6 weeks. Diabetes is no longer a contraindication of the VBACs and anesthesia. Something about anesthesia: blood glucose monitoring after every 30 minutes if GA is given, and blood glucose monitoring during labor and birth. Monitor blood glucose 1 hourly, aim to maintain the level of 4 to 7 millimole per liter, which is 72 to 126 milligram per deciliter. Okay, how we start the insulin dextrose in type 1 diabetes from the onset of established labor. We can start IV dextrose insulin infusion, and in women with any type of diabetes with blood glucose is not maintained between 44 to 7 millimole. So what are the indications of infusion in type 1 diabetes from the onset of the established labor, and in other type of diabetes if it is not maintained between 4 to 7 millimole per liter? Insulin infusion. How to prepare insulin infusion? Take 20 ml syringe, put 19.8 ml of normal saline plus 0.2 ml of the soluble insulin. Okay, the mixture contains 20 units insulin, because the vial of the Himalayan R is of 100 units per ml, so for 20 units we need 0.2 ml. insulin infusion. If we have a vial of about 10 ml containing 100 units, take then to make 20 units to make 2 ml insulin and 18 ml normal saline. Give insulin at the rate of 1 unit 1 ml per hour in an infusion pump. Simultaneously, 10% glucose infusion is started at the rate of 1 liter per 8 hours or 125 ml per hour to counteract hyperglycemia. If glucose concentration falls, okay, if glucose concentration falls below 3.5 millimole per liter, then glucose infusion should be increased, and that's why both insulin and glucose should be given in this separate infusion. If the labor is prolonged more than 12 hours, KCl should be added to infusate at the concentration of about 20 mole per liter. Neonatal care includes initial assessment and criteria for admission to ICU and preventing and assessing neonatal hypoglycemia, and postnatal care includes the blood glucose control medicine and the breastfeeding. For the patient with pre-existing diabetes mellitus on the insulin, consider reducing the dose of the insulin after birth. Patient with GDM should discontinue anti-diabetic drugs, and patient with pre-existing type 2 diabetes should continue to take metformin, glibenclamide. Okay, in postnatal care, advise women with insulin-treated pre-existing diabetes to reduce insulin immediately after birth and self-monitoring blood glucose to establish correct dose. And about the risk of hypoglycemia, especially while breastfeeding, advise a woman with type 2 diabetes that they can resume or continue taking metformin and glibenclamide while breastfeeding. Postnatal care, advise a woman with gestational diabetes to stop taking hypoglycemic medication immediately after birth. This is about the GDM. And we have to give advice about the weight control, diet and exercise, and the symptoms. We have to tell about the symptoms of the hyperglycemia and about symptoms of the hypoglycemia. Okay, and the risk of GDM in the subsequent pregnancy, and the blood testing at the 6 to 13 weeks postnatal. Okay, so HbA1c is checked at if HbA1c is not checked, if blood glucose is not checked till 13 weeks, as we have told that at 6 to 13 weeks we have to check the blood glucose. If it has not been checked till 6 to 13 weeks, we have to offer HbA1c. If the postnatal blood glucose normal, offer annual HbA1c level. And information follow-up after birth. Women with pre-existing diabetes should be referred back to the routine diabetes care arrangement. Women with the GDM should offer a fasting blood sugar 6 weeks, as I've told you, and offer HbA1c if it is not done. And in case of the normal results, annual HbA1c should be done. This is the whole interpretation, the whole summary of whatever we have studied. That interpretation of the results of our fasting blood sugar, HbA1c after birth. No, this is not summary. The summary will come later. Sorry. After birth, fasting blood sugar, if it is below 6, as I have told you that after 6 to 13 weeks, we have to check the blood glucose. If the blood glucose is below 6 millimole, 108 milligram per deciliter, it means the low probability of having diabetes. Fasting blood sugar, if it is between 6 to 6.9, 108 to 124, means high risk of developing diabetes. And fasting blood glucose of above 7 or 126 milligram per deciliter, it means the high means likely to have diabetes mellitus. And HbA1c below 39 millimole or 5.7, low probability. Between 39 to 47 means 5.7 to 6.4, means the high risk of developing diabetes. And HbA1c of 48 millimole per mole or 6.5 or above, it means patient has got diabetes mellitus. Prognosis of diabetes among the women having GDM, about 50% will progress to type 2 diabetes in subsequent 20 years. Target levels. Okay, in the preconception period, fasting blood glucose should be 5 to 7 millimole per liter. This is the whole summary. 90 to 126 milligram per liter. And plasma blood glucose in other times is 4 to 7 millimole per liter, which is 72 to 126 milligram per liter. HbA1c 4.8 millimole per mole, 6.5%, and she shouldn't get pregnant if HbA1c is 86 millimole per liter, which is 10%. And gestational diabetes is diagnosed as fasting blood sugar is 5.6 millimole per liter or 100 mg per deciliter above, or 2 hours blood glucose is 7.8 millimole per liter or 140 milligram per deciliter above, and post which is post 75 gram glucose load. And the target level during pregnancy in any form of diabetes, fasting blood sugar should be 5.3 millimole per liter, 95.4 milligram per deciliter water, or after meal is 7.8 millimole per liter or 140.4. We should tell about the patient about this to the patient that after 2 hours her blood glucose should be below 6.4 millimole per liter or 115.2 milligram per deciliter. Lowest level should be above 4 millimole per liter or 72 milligram per deciliter. Okay, after birth, fasting blood sugar below 6 millimole means low probability. As I've explained all this thing, HbA1c level, I have explained it already. Okay, thank you so much for your patience.